Hi, I'm Mrs. Mercer, and I'm going to be teaching your Level 4 Sunday lesson for today. Our goal for the next slides are for your child to read the slides quickly, so rapidly is the key, but we also want them to be accurate. So, for example, if your child makes an error, say this is the letter A, which says a, and then show the keyword apple, but have them trace first. Or actually, you can say that and then have them trace 3 times. And you would want them to take their 2 fingers like this and go, A says apple, or I'm sorry. A says A says 3 times. Okay. But you would also want them to see the keyword so that they have a visual to associate with that letter and that sound. We're going to go through. I want you to make sure, especially if this is your first lesson with me, not to add the at the end of sound. So you would say t, not t. This will help the students later when they're blending. So I'm going to go through these rapidly. You can always pause the video if your child needs more time. They do not need to say the keywords. You could say them for them. If they'd like to, they can. But if you want to keep up a rapid pace, that's not totally necessary. Sure they say v, not v. F, not f. This causes a lot of issues. A lot of people want to say and it's r. Okay, so now we're to the spell sound section where I'm going to dictate some sounds to the learner. Okay, you're going to write it on a piece of paper. If you don't have paper, you can maybe use notes on your iPad. Just whatever you have available. If you could use it to do this, that would be great. Okay, so I'm going to say a sound, and then the student is going to repeat the sound, and then they're going to say and write it at the same time. Now, if we were at school, this would be in their student notebook, and this is how we have it formatted into each section for the lessons. So they would write this under the spell sound section right here. Okay. Now, if the student makes an error, say they write an F and you wanted D, so you would say, I see F. I wanted D. And you would do the sounds. And then you would try to prompt the sound from your learner so that they would give you the correct answer. If they don't, then you can give them the answer, but we really want them to give you the correct letter. So, what letter makes the D sound? And hopefully your student would say D. So you're going to cross out the F. Okay. And then you're going to write the D. Okay. If you don't have D, cross it out and write it. Now write it 2 more times so that they practice. D says D. D says D. And also try to make sure that they're forming their letters correctly from top to bottom. This will save them time later on if they're going top down. Okay? So listen for the sounds. I'm going to go rapidly. You can pause the video to give them more time. Remember, they will repeat, and then they're going to repeat and write the sound that I give. D, ah, mm, v, v, I, g, n, r, f. Okay? Give the learner some time to write those, and if they have to make any corrections, have them follow the pattern that I showed you for corrections. Okay. Now the student is going to read one column of words from the next page. Make sure they put their fingers underneath the word. If they make an error, say, let's trace. Make sure that they see the word while they're doing the tracing. They will trace each letter and say each sound as they do it and then blend. Make sure they do it for a total of 3 times for automaticity. So say they miss the word cat. Okay, they're going to look at the word. They're going to trace it while they say each sound. So at cat. You'll have them do that 3 times. At cat. But they need to see the word as well. Okay? While they're doing that. Okay? So you can pick a column to read from this. If you feel like your child is not understanding the new material, you can present the same lesson and vary the columns that they read each day so that they get some more practice, because we want to make sure that these skills are solid before they move on. That's one way to vary the lessons. Okay, so now we're going to the spell words section of the lesson. I'm going to repeat again, example of touch spelling. So if you have a left-handed student, they will touch spell with this, and it's very important that they touch something as they touch spell. So they would start with their pinky, and then they would write, you can't see, they would write with this hand. If they were a lefty, they would touch spell with this hand, ah, so that they follow the left to right pattern of a word, and then they would write with their left. Okay, so now we're to the spell words section. I'm going to read some words to you. The learner's going to repeat the word, they're going to touch spell the word, and say each sound out loud while writing the word. Okay, if they were at school, they would write that in this section of their student notebook. Okay, so we're on the spell words section. Feel free to pause after each word to give your learner the time to do it. Fit. The learner will repeat fit. They will touch spell fit. Then they will write and sound out fit at the same time. They will do that pattern for all of the following words. Can. Jig. Mad. Sip. Rag. Lid. Map. Pause the video and give your student time to write all of these words before we move ahead to checking the words. The next slides will show the words correctly. If you made an error, cross it out. Do not erase what you wrote, and then write it 3 times. Sometimes the mistakes can give us information on what we need to work on more thoroughly with the student. Okay, here is fit. If you made an error, cross it out and write it 3 times. can, jig, mad, sip, rag, lid, map. Okay, now we're going to the spell words section. This is the phrases and sentences, and I believe this is the first time we've gotten to that in the lessons that we've had so far. I will dictate the following sentence. You want to do that as a whole sentence, not word by word. The learner is going to repeat the sentence. Now, what they're going to do a little bit differently here, they will tap one word per finger. So they're going to use the same thing they would for touch spelling. If they are righty, they would use their left hand. And if I said, the cat went home, they would put one word per finger. The cat went home. Okay? So the learner will repeat the sentence, and then they're going to tap it out. So I would say the cat went home. They would say the cat went home. Then they're going to go, the cat went home. Okay? Then they're going to write the word or sentences, the words or sentences, phrases. Then they're going to check for capitalization and punctuation if necessary. Some of the phrases in this next one aren't really full, complete sentences. They're just phrases. Okay, and then when they're finished, make sure they read the words that they have just written. If you need to repeat, you can have the students look away from the screen while you dictate if you need to repeat, if you see that they're struggling with this. Okay, so this will go in this section of the paper. This is the phrases and sentences spell words section. Okay, so they're going to repeat the sentence. They're going to tap one word per finger, and then they're going to write the sentence, and then they're going to read the sentence back to us. Okay, so this is just phrases. There really won't be any capitalization or punctuation on these, but they will write that right here. Sad man. They will repeat sad man. They will touch sad man on a desk, and then they will write. Bit him. Bit him. So they will repeat and then tap on their fingers and then write. When they're finished, have them read aloud the phrases to you. Okay? Okay, so now they can check their sentences. If you made an error, cross it out. Do not erase it. So you should have written sad man and bit him. Correct any errors that you may have made. Okay. All right, so now we're going to introduce a new sound. So today we have short O. Short O is found at the beginning or middle of a word. Please repeat that rule with me. Short O is found at the beginning or middle of a word. Repeat that. O says ah, as in octopus. I want you to take your fingers and do your tracing. O says ah. O says ah. O says ah. 3 times. Here is your key word, octopus. Okay. Now I would like for you to write O 3 times in this area right here. So write O says ah 3 times while saying it. O says ah. O says ah. Okay, Now the learner is going to read some words from the word book. You may not have them read all of them. You may have them read one column. That is up to you, but the more practice, the better. Also, if you feel like you need to repeat this lesson, you could have them do the same things that we do and then just do a different column the next day if you feel like they haven't learned the material thoroughly. So pause the video so that they can read the words from the word book. Okay, so now we're to new material where I'm going to dictate some words to you that have the new sound in them. You will write these words in this section of your paper if you were in school and had the paper in front of you. Move this up here. Okay. So I'm going to say the word. You will repeat the word. You will touch spell the word, and then you'll say each sound aloud while writing it on paper. Okay? Mop. You will repeat mop. You will touch spell mop, and then you will write it while you sound it out on paper. You will do that for all the following words. Pause the video if you need more time. Dot. On. Hot. Pop. Log. Give the learner enough time to write all the words, and once all the words are written, have the learner read the words back to you. Parents, this is a section where you will probably need to check and make sure the words are written correctly. Have them read the words back. Okay. All right, and now our final section, the read aloud. We're starting to read phrases a little bit more. So they will read these phrases out loud to you. Pause the video so that they have time to read them while putting their fingers underneath the words. If they need to sound out the words, that's fine, but we want them to also translate it from hot dog, okay? Pause the video, and that's it for today. I hope you have a great day.